This is Sean from HUFR Fest and the Heavy Underground Farm Report. I'm very excited to have Gabe Gambino, guitarist for Violet Rising,
That's true.
and half of the members of Manhigh. Gabe, thanks for being with me today, man. It's
Dude,
awesome to get the chance to talk to you.
it's a pleasure to be here, and it's cool to, like I have a bit of a Denver past, so, to reconnect to that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well, hey, man. Well, why don't we kind of start there? You know, you're coming out to Denver. You're playing Hufferfest with Violet Rising
Hmm.
on Friday night, April 24th. That's like 25 days away. I can't believe it, man.
Yeah, we're doing a bit
Pretty
of
excited about it.
we're pretty much gonna practice every day until at least whoever's not at work, we're all we're meeting up at the space and going over stuff
Hey, man.
because
Well, let's take a quick detour. I saw you play the other night. It didn't look like you guys needed any practice to me.
well, I don't. So with Manhigh, it's like we've been a band for like almost 10 years. And we've done
Yeah,
hundreds of shows. So like with that, I feel like
it shows.
I could get through a man high set like, I did it, on a lot of drugs and drinking and stuff in the past, So like it happens,
Sure.
Any desert rock band, there's usually some desert rock drugs to go with it. But and nowadays I'm sober, so I'm like now I have feelings. It's kind of rough. Like
Oh, we're going to talk about your feelings and feelings. I want to definitely hit on that later. The band high set stuff was great.
thank you.
And I've been listening to your band for the last few days, and I really like you guys. And you're a lot, definitely desert sound. But you guys have, I don't know, there's something deep going on there. And I think I absolutely know why.
Hmm.
But really quickly with Violet Rising, your set with Violet Rising was like what I saw of it. I think there was a 10-minute clip that I caught, was fantastic. And really, it looks like you've brought the heavy to Violet Rising. The clip I saw was heavy and it was awesome. Like, do you think you've had some influence on the band since you joined?
Well, it's like, when they first had approached me to we kind of had this goal, like, yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm still playing in Manheim and stuff, but I wanted to see. I was like, oh, let's see how it goes. You know what I mean? And because
Yeah.
I had actually seen them. I think I saw their first show, their very first show at this brewery. And I was like,
Okay.
that band's fucking good. I was like, I like them a lot.
Yeah.
And so, I was like, always, I've been following them for, the last 3 years or so. And so when they had approached me and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna come see you play," I did like a solo show because the drummer in Manhigh, he had surgery back in
Okay.
November. So I was like, "Cool, yeah, I'm just doing this little solo thing,"
Sweet.
and I was like, "Man, Ricardo and Christy came and they were like, oh, hey, our guitar player quit," and I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "All right, what? Okay, like." And then like my mind was just like, yeah, I could do that shit. I could do it, you know.
Yeah.
So like, but then I was
Cool.
like, they didn't come to me because they didn't want to be heavy, you know. I was
They
like,
told you.
yeah, I they see me playing Manhigh before. I was like, they know what I do. Manhigh's been around a long time, but I definitely, I mean, if you hear the newer stuff at Hopperfest, it's gonna be there's positively my DNA in there, I guess, or my musical DNA.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, man. No, like I said, I really enjoyed the set, and that's gotta be like a cool feeling for you to join a band that you liked,
Oh, yeah.
and it's gotta be a cool thing for them to pick up like a veteran of the scene like you. Have you guys written some songs together or anything like that at this point?
Oh yeah, yeah. We definitely have. Yeah, today we came up with like two other ideas. We're gonna explore. Like it's just, I think the thing was,
Wow, okay.
like with Manhigh, it was, I don't know, joining this band has like helped the other band as well. And it's like the two kind of lend each other. Um, to me, just being more creative, I guess. And so like the big thing has been like, shit, I got riffs now. And the way I play guitar at Manhigh is because we're a two-piece band. I'm
Yeah.
playing like guitar and bass. I have to make you hear all that shit by myself, you know? And
Yeah, right. It's a lot of sounds, right.
yeah, we don't do tracks or anything like that. It's like whatever you hear in a Man High show
Okay.
is what we're doing, is what I'm doing. You know, like
Do you like use a looper or
no
anything like that? Or...
delay
Oh,
pedal.
dang, dude.
Yeah, so I just I use like octave effects and stuff like that to thicken it up when it needs to be thicker. But it's really when you're not using effects, right? So the moments you don't use effects is like those are just as important because you don't if you use the effects like all the fucking time and you lean on them too much, then you're like, okay, the guy's an effect guy, or is you know. So
So no worries at all. It's like nothing happened at all. There was no
whoa.
so we're back to it's all good. Hey, we were talking about you're joining Violet Rising and
Hmm.
fitting into the band pretty seamlessly and writing some music, I think is where we were at.
Yes. Yeah. So we definitely a lot more use of the fuzz. And obviously
Yeah.
like with with Ricardo being in Blue Heron and stuff, and when we started, I was like, like one of my favorite bands ever is Windhand, right? And
Yeah.
I love
Okay.
Windhand, and I was like, I love like I have this love
They're gonna
for like
come up later too, so yeah.
I like yeah they I yeah with Windhand like I asked them, I was like, do you guys ever hear this band Windhand? And they're like, we fucking love them, and I was like, I fucking love you guys, and I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, they're just a great band. But like, I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, Chelsea Wolf. Like, yeah, well, we love Chelsea Wolf too. I was like, fucking A, dude. Like, all right. I'm very drawn to like, I love heavy music with like a lady singer. Like
Yeah.
there's like a lot of
Yeah, I love
juxtaposition there.
no, I
You know,
love like heavy tempo or like
which is
what Laura does for Hippie Death Cult and stuff like
yes,
that
yeah,
too. Yeah.
I love it. It's just there's like a sweet. It's like when it's like not like Man High. It's like where it's like shitty guitar, shitty vocals,
Whatever.
and and I always tell people they're like, two-piece band. They're like the White Stripes. I'm like, yeah, but we're both Meg. There's no Jack White in that band, you know?
There's no man, two-piece bands are really like it's do you do it partially out of the challenge for it, or do you do it because the two of you are just locked in and you don't feel like there's really room for anybody else?
Yeah, I feel like it just it would slow us down or like hold us back a little bit. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it is a challenge. Like it makes you be I'll do something where I'm playing the same riff a bunch of times, but I'm like, oh, I'm gonna add like a little chordage, like some little jazz chord type stuff to it, where I'm like, oh, that's fucking sweet, like, but it kind of moves you where you're like, hey, we're getting into chorus territory now, or like,
Yeah.
I'm saying like, oh, this part's bigger than the last part, so even though it's generally the same thing.
How does that dynamic play out? Since I haven't seen you live except just on video, how does that dynamic play out live? Do you
It,
think?
it I think it's like, I don't know, so. You heard a sample of like the newest stuff we're doing. It sounds
Yes.
like that live. Like it
Okay.
there's not really any carryover. And actually our focus recording wise with Man High is like capturing the feeling. So I was like, I want it to sound in the studio like it feels live. Like and so there is a lot of like, guitar fuckery. Like but it's literally like, hey, what if I play the same thing through a different amp? You know? And I use a different
No,
pickup
that's
or whatever.
cool.
Yeah, so like I'll do like a bunch of tracks of the same shit basically. And in order to kind of get that feeling out of it. But it's
Do
fun,
you
dude. And it's a
lay
fun challenge.
Do you like layer that if you're recording, or do you
Hmm.
find the one sound that you like and just go with that one?
Yeah, so like what I do is I take the things that I like and I like will pick it apart and do each one as their individual track. And this is our little production secret now. Like when we record, it's when we record I'll play through like so I'll still play the same guitar, but I'll play it through a bass amp. And so I like to blend my octave pedals and stuff like that. And
All
so when you
right.
see us live, it's just blended octaves. But what I do is I crank the octave and I do a track of just that like low track, and then I do a track of just the high track, and then Javier, like the Sandoval, he's the guy who's recording us. He fucks with that later. I'm like, you make it sound like music. And the thing is, I'm like really not a fucking knowledgeable guy with when it comes to the technical side of things, or I barely learned how to work a soundboard. And you saw the videos, like,
No, there's so much to do though, and so like I played guitar for like 10 years before I was like, man, I should probably just talk about people playing guitars. So like there's a lot going on, I think, that people don't really, if you don't play, and there's so many different ways to change your sound. And I think, like I would literally spend nights where all I did was tweak pedals and amp to try to find a certain tone, and then like never
oh
get better
yeah,
at guitar. Then never
dude,
practice anything. Fuck.
that's where I'm at right now, is like so the first band I was in, I had a band for like 8 years, and we it was kind of like what led me to starting Man High and stuff. But it was pretty heavy and stuff like that. It was but I used to plug directly into the amp, and that was it. So I was like straight into the amp guy. And I was like, cool, that's all I need, because I was just playing rhythm guitar at the time. And then I was like, I spiced it up, got delay pedal.
Then it just starts freaking.
Yeah.
Then
Well, and that's
it's
the thing.
on.
Man High has been so for like it's been 9 years we've been a band. We had I had like an octave pedal and delay pedal. And so people always looked at my shit, because they're like, "Oh, what are you doing with that?" And I'm like, "No, I changed little settings like throughout the set." And people
Yeah.
don't really notice that much, because I'm like, "Oh yeah, my ass hurts," or something, right? And they're like, "Oh, okay." And then I'm like, "Tweet, tweet, tweet," So like,
A master of deception, a
yeah.
magician on stage. Excellent game. That's
So
fantastic.
yeah, all I really have, I have a wireless system, and I was like, and then when I joined Violet, I was like, "Well, fuck, I better step it up, dude." So I had some pedals already that I've never used. Um, And I've been on this huge kick lately. I've been watching a lot of like YouTube videos, because I'm like, fuck, I don't know. And I was like, hey, YouTube's a thing, right?
It is a thing.
And
You're
it's
gonna
like,
be on it.
oh, yeah, see, look at me in your face, Dad. Look who's making it now. But yeah, my dad, so I was telling, I teach kids guitar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's so awesome, man.
And when I teach them, I'm like, you kids you don't know how good you have it, because
So, dude,
you have
tabs
YouTube.
on
You
the
have like,
internet.
I had Ass Blaster 69 give me the wrong tabs on MX Tabs. Like, there was a site called MX Tabs back in the early 2000s.
Yes, I'm familiar with it. Yes, I
Yeah,
played
but
many
then
songs wrong.
yeah, there's like fuck yeah, you're like Stevie Nicks holes, posted this tab, and you're like, dude, 80% of this shit is wrong, dude.
Yeah,
You know,
dude.
and you're just mad. Now they
It
have
was like
one.
a kind of different. It was kind of a different challenge, I think, than guys went through in the '70s, because guys went through really slowing down records and really, and then we had to
Oh yeah,
overcome. Then we had to overcome like shitty translations. So it's like I would spend an hour or two learning how to play a song wrong, and
yeah,
then realize that the tab was wrong, and then I'd really feel like, oh man,
yeah.
I
You
just
go to show
practiced
your
so
brother.
wrong. And I thought like, yeah, exactly. He's like, you're not even playing the right song, dude.
Yeah, and they're like, I
Yeah.
don't know what that is, and you're like, you don't what? How do you
Yeah.
not know what I'm playing? It's fucking it's Weezer or some shit. Yeah. But like,
That's fantastic.
but yeah, I loved. Yeah, I was like explaining. I was like, "Do you know what a VHS tape is?" I had to stand up and like rewind it like manually, to
Yeah.
go to the jam track at the end of the VHS, so the guitar instructional
Uh,
VHS. It's the only it's really the only formal education I had in guitar, and so it was 15 years of like just doing. I'm like, oh, I think I invented something there, and
do
they're
you
like, no,
think?
that's called a pentatonic scale, and that's what everybody else does. Yeah.
But do you think that? How do you think that affects you as a guitar player? Do you think that ultimately made you a better guitar player or a more creative guitar player, maybe?
I there's like different schools of thought I have with this, like where I think like the formal education is great and stuff like that. Oh, sorry. The um the formal education is like great, but I know people that can play like anything they touch, but like they can play other people's shit, and they can't really make anything
Yeah.
that's like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, so it's
There's no
hard.
originality. They're very good at like I don't want to say copying because that word sounds rough, but they're very good at picking up on what other people do and imitating it.
Right, right. There's that aspect of like sight reading and all the shit like
Uh,
that. Like I can sit down and see a sheet, and I'm like, I can't read music. But I'm just like, I've also heard, like an Alice in Chains song and it has 3 notes in it, and it's fucking, and all 3 notes are bangers. You're
Mhm.
like, you're like, dude, I used to get offended about like the guitarist of Deftones. Like, I love Deftones, but
Cool.
like he's like, I don't know, man. He just adds a string, but I'm like, fuck, it's good though. I'm like, god damn it, like I learned to admire the like I wish I came up with that aspect
Yeah.
of music, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, fuck, dude, it was
That's
like that riff was right there the whole time. And that's like a lot of like Doom, a lot of Doom is like that, where you're like, fuck, dude, like those 3 chords together, okay. Like fuck, they were there, they were just sitting out for anybody. And these guys did it. And so there's that aspect of it. And
I
I
like.
Mhm.
Do you think there's some? I'm sorry, I'm dying here, man.
Oh no, you're okay. I drink water
Do you
wrong
think
all the
there's?
time.
Do you think there's some correlation or like similarities is probably a better word between punk rock and doom metal? Because you're talking about a lot of three chords and interesting progressions, not using a lot. Were you a punk rock guy at
Mm.
all?
I do like punk rock. I feel like when you play music, like, so I always tell people that I'm like, being a musician is kind of a curse because you don't listen to music the same way anymore. You listen
Oh
like
yeah,
production. You listen to production shit. You listen to um, what's that guitarist doing?
yes,
And um, and there's an aspect of that. So I feel like punk rock, is like about the message, whereas Doom there is a punk rock aspect to it, but I feel like with Doom bands, it's a vibe. It's about the
yeah,
energy in that fucking room. And I'm like, yeah, so people are like, oh, you listen to this, a fucking 11-minute song, And I'm like, dude,
yes,
yeah, I listened to it because I was like there and I saw them play it and I had a fucking religious experience.
yeah,
So, and that's the thing is like,
yes.
you want to take people to church a little bit. And,
Yeah, man, that's a good. I really like that. I think that's a really good distinction between those two do-it-yourself, heavy genres. Yeah, man,
Yeah, there's a lot of like I'll
that's a
listen to
really
Electric Wizard, and I'm like, I don't even give a fuck what he's singing about.
right.
I want to, yeah, I'm banging my head against the steering wheel, you know, because I'm like,
Totally,
yeah,
total. Yeah, like I listened to. I worked in the shop last night, and they decided everybody gets to choose a song, and so I was like, well, I'm going to torture you all. So I put on Dope Smoker.
oh, I was gonna say, dude, I was like, I hope you did Dope Smoker.
Yeah, they made it 43 minutes into Dope Smoker before they topped out, which I thought was pretty good for the hip hop and EDM kids.
Right,
Um
and
but yeah,
I'm
man, like
a
but
huge hip
it's
hop fan too.
hypnotic for like I understand why people don't necessarily like it,
Hmm.
but for me it's hypnotic and like the first time I heard Sleep, I didn't like the singing, but now I do. and
Right.
and but yeah, man, there's do you find there's a cathartic aspect to listening to Doom?
Oh yeah, there's
Do you
definitely
think?
like because I don't hear it and like people are like, oh, it's angry music. It's not angry music.
Oh
This is
no,
just
it's
like,
sad if anything,
yeah, I'm like, this is
but not
the
really.
weight of the world.
But not. Yeah. So, man, let's talk about. Well, if you, I'd like to talk about your past a little bit
Hmm.
because it's really shaped the person that you are today and the kind of music that you're making today. And could we just go back and you talk about the start of Mannheim and then the evolution of that band? And I'm going to let you just tell the story. And if I have questions, I'll ask them. But you've
Yeah,
kind of told me this story before, and I think it's
yeah.
important that people hear it. So,
Yeah, well, in Manhai, so I was in another band. We had just gone on tour and stuff like that, and it was, it went pretty well and stuff like that. But eventually, we all kind of got like, I don't know, we were all young shitheads in that band, and I was like a young shithead that was like dabbling in drugs for the first time. And so I was like in my
okay.
late 20s or whatever, and
Yeah.
what got me there was I was on probation for a year for DWI, which is
Okay.
funny because I was a fucking Boy Scout before that. But I spent a year like on probation, and I took it very seriously. But I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try some stuff. Like, it was weird. I did acid for the first time. I saw Bernie Sanders and did acid. That was a great night.
I bet that was an
Fucking sick,
amazing
dude.
night.
Sick. Yeah, I was like
I
calling my friends.
bet.
I was like, healthcare, the 1%. Yeah, just like so that was a good time. But shortly after that, like we went on tour, and I before that tour, I just started dating someone and basically, we got married after like 7 weeks. There's like
Yeah, you
7 weeks of
told me
dating. Hmm.
you like met this girl and love at first sight, and
Hmm.
within like 49 days, you guys are getting married.
Hmm.
And so I'm assuming that she was not a musician though, right?
No, no, but
But
she honestly was a huge music fan, and
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
she knew some like we'd be like, "Oh, do you like this band?" She's like, "Well, have you heard this deep cut of this?" And I was like, "Yes, I have." But it's like, so we, like music taste wise, we were like very much aligned in the same kind of space there. You know what I mean? And she'd always like talk about how she wanted to play guitar or something like that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so I had a bass sitting around. I quit my band, and I was like, "Ah, fuck, fuck them anyway." And I told Ray, our drummer, that I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna take a little break, And he's like, "No, you're not. You're gonna bring your shit to my house, and we're gonna like jam." And so
Well,
I had riffs that I already had that we still play today. But I had some riffs that I was like, these are cool, and I want to do something." And so Ray was like, "Oh, I'll jam with you for now." And then my wife at the time would look over, I'm like, "Hey, pick up that bass," and just like, and I showed her how to read a tab, and I'm like, "Just play this," and I was like, "Just loop that bass line so I could play something." And then I was like, "Why don't you just why don't you just do this?" You know?
yeah.
And that was
And she
probably
and she was picking it up, right?
like fucking so easy. I think people have accused me of being a good teacher because of that, but it's been,
I'm sure you are.
she kind of got the patterns, like she saw the patterns in it. And so
Yeah.
it was like, no, it was within 5 months we toured. Like we're in 6 weeks of touring, right? Like,
What this
it
had to
was
be a thrilling, like you had to be absolutely thrilled at this point with what was happening.
absolutely. I mean, this was it was a huge, huge experience. Like, and it's something, I always like tell people, I'm like, you can't buy that kind of shit. You know what I mean? You can't.
Yeah.
There's no amount of money you can spend that where you're like, this is, you can't buy that feeling.
But
And so it was.
you were young, and there was a dark side to that as well,
Oh,
right?
absolutely, man. It's like, being real caught up in the party of it and all this stuff like that is, it's difficult to come out of that and stuff like that. And we had this band going, and it was almost 2 years. That
And
first 2 years.
things were going really well. Like you
Oh yeah, we were
guys
planning
had
on going to
plans.
Europe.
Like yeah, yeah, you showed me a picture of you with Windhand.
Yeah, yeah. And that was
Yeah.
it was we in 2018. So I mean, like, she had been playing bass less than a year. We were at Rancho de la Luna with Dave Catching, and we recorded a bunch of stuff. And it was like,
It's
there's all this
amazing.
shit. There's all this shit. We are just like asking, it was just like,
You
ah,
guys are like on this amazing trajectory.
absolutely. It was what it was like ultimately, but like it was, we definitely were working our asses off and like playing a lot and leaving the state a lot. We were going up to, well, yeah, we were going out to Arizona like every month, just about, and stuff like that. And like we're going to just wherever we could play, we were playing. And yeah, for some reason, I remember meeting Dave Catching and just being like, he's like, "Hey man, I'm Dave." I'm like, "I fucking know, dude. I've like been a fan of yours since I was 13." And Dave is like, he was so cool. He was like, "Ah, hold on. Hey, we're friends now, okay? Stop that." Because I was
That's the
being such a
best.
fucking, he's like, "Stop being a fanboy. Wait, we're cool." And we got to make
Yeah.
him like some New Mexico food and like pozole, and then, like, we picked up, went to Hatch and like got chili and stuff and brought it out there.
That's
And
cool, man.
And it
Right.
was like, it was nuts. We were like, "Dude, this is fucking Anthony Bourdain cooked on this stove," or like, and stuff like that. So it was like
And you
really
people from
surreal.
not from this region, like we are, Hatch green
Mm,
chili. That's the shit.
it is the shit.
That's the
And
shit.
it's what's kind of crazy is like, I was born in El Paso. I grew up in California, but like I spent my first couple years, I guess, in El Paso, and that was I was like, man, what is it about the desert that I'm 'cause I don't like heat, you know. But there's something in the desert that just like, I think it makes for kind of a creative, you're like, fuck,
Yes.
life's kind of harder down here, and you're like, you gotta be a little creative and figure out how to make it
It's
work, you know what I mean?
not a lot of margin for error in the desert.
It's true. So like back to the band and stuff like that,
Yeah.
we had like things had gotten out of control, at a point and stuff like that, and
Got out
I
of
was not
control in what
into
way? Are you talking about, like,
with the
drug
drugs and the
use? Yeah,
mhm,
okay.
the drinking and stuff like that,
Drinking a lot.
and I remember like just kind of well when I look back, I'm like, good Lord, like, but there was just stuff I was ignorant to or I wasn't savvy about, I guess, in drugs that I was always like, into the stimulants, like I like being in control and like up, and unfortunately, she was like the other side of that, and she passed away from an overdose in August of 2019. It's
So what happened? What was the immediate aftermath for you like? It had to be devastating.
so there are elements to like that kind of grief that's hard to explain. But it's like it's definitely a roller coaster, and some of it's like almost funny, where it's like a bad Seinfeld. Like people just have like they're like, um, I definitely learned what's not comforting to people going through that. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah. But it
you're
had to
like,
be hard to
yeah,
deal
man,
with, and you had to find a way to deal with it. And you
yeah. And there's
seem
a
to
lot
me
of
that who probably someone who used a dark sense of humor at some level. So
right, right, and there was that, but it's kind of weird too because we were, um, people are like, "Oh, you guys are like a power couple or whatever the fucking." It was like, we were like, so like, your losses are as public as your victories, and when you're in a band together, and that element of it is shitty, and there's like a lot of there's always the people that like conspiracy theories and stuff like that, or
sure. And Gabe, you
yeah,
talked about a show even that you like came out and you talked to the crowd and you're like, hey man, if anybody's here because they feel sorry for me,
get the fuck out.
yeah. And so
Yeah.
like your emotional sameness point has to be pretty fragile. How long did it take you to get back on stage? I mean, it seems like you did that fairly
um
quickly.
So we actually, Ray and I had played the memorial show because I was like, he would not forgive if we didn't
I,
and play
We,
our songs.
we have not mentioned her name. Did you want to do that?
Yeah, her name was Gabrielle. We were
Gabrielle.
assholes. We had the same name.
It's
Yeah,
a tragic story, like, but I mean, I don't have to like tell you that, but the recovery is what's important from when we face our darkest moments. And so you have bounced back. Can you share, like, it's important for people to hear how you did that because a lot of people
absolutely,
don't bounce back from what you went through. So could you share with us what helped you get better and face your life and move forward and continue to be an artist?
absolutely. I think so. Our friend Karen Lowe, she's from Australia, right? She
Okay,
flew out maybe 3 months after everything happened, and she's a well-known like concert photographer. She wrote for like a rock and roll magazine in Australia and stuff like that.
cool. Right
And
on.
we had met her through a like Queens of the Stone Age fan group where I was like, "Hey, we recorded this song at Rancho," and she's like, I'm not going to try and do the accent, but she's like, when I put on your song, I was just praying like, please don't be shit, And that was almost 10 years ago, and like she's followed the band ever since, and she came out and
That's
visited.
cool.
Um, like 3 months after, and she's like, "I wanna do a photo shoot for you guys." And she wrote, an article about her experience, coming to Albuquerque, and, we did, like, a
Yeah.
little private show for her and stuff like that, like, it was a glorified rehearsal, but she's like, "Oh, I wanna hear your stuff," and so we played and, it kinda got the ball rolling on us, like, alright, well, I was like, I could not have, replaced her in the band, you know what I mean? But
Of
also
course.
just I mean, besides the obvious, like, it's shitty adding somebody to your band because like, you're like, what if they're on a corn nut diet and you're on the road, you know? or like, your chronic
Yeah.
diarrhea guys or
How did your partner how did the loss affect your drummer?
oh yeah, I mean, it's huge. I think he's a little more vocal about it. Like I keep to myself a lot about it most of the time. It's been, it's almost been 7 years. And I definitely took the therapy route and like did I mean, of course, like lots of drugs, but that's besides the, doing the therapy, like grief counseling, doing I did like, was it EMDR therapy? Like or yeah, there's some kind of like,
Scott
re,
Spires will have to help us out with that.
yeah,
He's my go-to on that kind of stuff. Yeah.
yeah. But there was a
But you
lot of therapy and a lot of like learning about stoicism and stuff like that and like that. Actually, not broicism, not the fucking like you have to be
right.
a heartless monster and all this shit.
You're not
Like
talking Andrew Tate stuff, so
yes, that's not
yeah.
these are people that just like, like I allow myself to feel those feelings and I also know so I became committed to like talking other people off that ledge too, you know what I mean? And that's like a big deal to me.
It's a
Um
big deal. It's a huge deal, right? I'm a recovered alcoholic and
mhm.
yeah, talking about my addiction helps keep me sober for sure. And I'm always, happy and eager to talk to somebody who wants to talk about that. You quit drinking like what, about a year ago, you were telling me?
Yeah, it's been 13 months now. I just celebrated,
Yeah.
it's actually so, since then, like, I got married again. I have a house and,
Yeah, yeah. That's where I was
yeah.
going with this. So
Oh,
oh
okay.
sorry. Yeah, so perfect. So like you've like found hope through
Mhm.
your recovery and through qu- not using some of the substances that you used before.
Yeah.
And you've like reestablished your life. And what do you think was the biggest factor that allowed you to do that and not wallow in self-pity or
Mm,
commit suicide maybe? What do you
right.
think? What was it, man?
There's like a mantra that I had. I'm like, well, I'm still here, And so, once you allow yourself to like, hey, you know what? I could fucking, I could make my grief my entire personality, or I can, and I mean, there are people that frankly do that and stuff like that. And and I get it, like, I get it. This is hands down the most difficult thing I've ever gone through,
Certainly, certainly.
but at the same
Do you
time, like, 7 years later, I'm like, I'm still here, and I could have like pouted and not learned anything or not done anything differently. And that's kind of what I tell people is that like, if you want to, if you want to get the things you've never had, you have to do the things you've never done. Right.
hell
So
yeah.
like, you have to like, when people are like, oh, it's just the way I am, man. I'm like, well, yeah, that's why you're fucking miserable.
Did you find that finding joy in your life again was a choice that you made?
There's definitely I don't know, you always find a reason that your life sucks every day if you want to, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So anybody can
Or,
find, yeah.
yeah,
Or you know what I do before I go to bed? I'm like, yeah, I learned this today. And even though this happened, I'm like thankful that it led me to this or whatever, you know what I mean? And so it's
yeah,
like, I don't live I don't live in I wishes and I don't have like a that well, if this would have happened or this wouldn't have happened and I'm like I the week after my wife had passed, like I was just like, no matter how bad I can sit here and say like I wish that didn't happen, but it's like no matter how hard you wish it's still happened. You're batting zero in that department, you know what I mean? And so there are
yeah.
just things you don't have the control over. And once I really realized like I want to be like a positive, force, in people's lives and stuff like that. I think it's important that you I don't know. So like I learned that I don't compare grief with anybody. When somebody lost their dog and that's the hardest thing they've ever been through, like I got it, man. I'm like I feel for them. And so I don't
Yes.
once I stopped trying to like I was never
Pain's
really
not
one up.
comparative. Right.
Right, right, yeah. Who's the suffering Olympics or whatever, like, and there are also
Agree.
people that just one of the Seinfeldy type thing. It's just like there are people that sadly being in the music scene, there are we get losses, we like people leave us too soon, and it's it's sadly common, So when
Yes.
you'll see the same motherfuckers though at anybody. Oh, I can't fucking, oh my God, right? And I'm like, you guys are fucking vultures. Um, there are these like I used to call them like grief vultures, yeah. And they're just like come around and they just want to like they're like the energy vampires from the What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
They're
I
just
love
like,
that
oh,
that from
it must hurt really
what we
bad,
do in the
right?
shadows. Yeah.
Yeah. But they're just people that are always, like
Almost like people are out there waiting for that to happen. I see it like in social media. You see that there's the people that the only time you ever see them post is when somebody like passes away or something. It's like
right.
interesting phenomenon.
And all of
Yeah.
a sudden they were the best friends. But there's also the same people that behind your back say shit about, like, you know what I think. And it's like,
Yeah.
man, and then you're gonna go up and hug them. So like there was a little bit of that too, where people
We're
come up.
just kidding. None of
Yeah.
this ever happens on the scene. Yeah,
Never.
we know it does, and we know it does, and it's like
No, and people never
it's the
borrowed their amps or the amps or
You know what? Like, there's a human element to the scene that I think
absolutely.
sometimes we have a fantasy that it doesn't exist, but it really does. It's
Yeah.
a microcosm of the world. But man,
But
you
yeah,
know, you, but
it
you
doesn't move me the way it did before, or it doesn't affect me in a way that's like
I bet, I bet that situation gave you perspective in a way none of us would like to get it. So,
right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, man,
like
but you do positive things and you don't just say it. And I'm not just talking about jumping on stage and playing guitar for bands, which by the way is a really positive thing, and I want to thank you for that because I love your
it's my
music.
favorite thing in the
But
world.
man, you marry people.
This is true. I'm
Let's
a
talk. So you actually, so when I invited, so when we our first conversation, you were like, "Hey man, if anybody wants to get married at Huffer Fest, I could marry them."
yeah,
And
that's I guess at
we
Ripple
don't know
Fest or
legally
something.
if we can do that in Colorado. I think actually my
Well,
wife's a wedding photographer.
if you have a
So
license,
you will, we're jumping. It's
I
cool.
can do it.
So you all, I know there's several of you couples that are about to tie the knot. Hufferfest would be the perfect place to do that. You could do it right after the Violet Rising set, or
You can do it
maybe
in
the
the
next
middle of
day.
it.
Give Gabe a second to clean up a little bit after the stage show. But yeah, tell
Hmm.
me about marrying people and why you decided to do that. It's really fascinating to me.
Dude, this is a man. This it's cool because like actually last Friday, Ricardo and Christy from Violet Rising, like they were
Yeah.
the witnesses.
Oh,
So
that's so
I got
cool.
to pay them. I got to pay them for witnessing a wedding that I did. Um,
Right on.
but yeah, like man, that was like, I mean, that was one of the positives that came out of drinking was being shit faced one night and being like, wait, I can just do this. Like, and I was like, what? I can get on stage, man. I'm like, I'm like,
I
I love being
did.
on stage. Yeah. I was like, dude, the more stage times, like fucking better.
I can relate.
So I signed up originally in 2019 with the Universal Life Church, which
Okay.
is like, it's another, very legitimate, like, organization. Well, and that's the thing too, is like, there's a part of the marrying people that I enjoy where I have taken care of some like more vulnerable couples that are in danger of losing
Oh
assets or
yeah.
like, you know what I mean? And so like
Yes. That's
uh,
awesome.
this last few months I've done probably mostly gay weddings, which is
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah. And I'm all about that
My
shit.
wife's a wedding photographer and she shoots a lot of gay weddings and it's like, man, I like
Dude, they're
freaking,
just more fun people because they don't have kids.
as a guy with kids, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it's
My
funny.
kid
You know
just
what?
went to bed.
It's man, I think, I just like I don't want to interfere with anybody's choices on how they want to live their life and who makes them happy, and I don't care who anybody else sleeps with. So, man, I think that's awesome that you step up and you
Dude,
take
one of
care
my
of people who might be marginalized in a different way.
right. Yeah, so that was one of the things that actually like made me more passionate about doing it. Well, so I've done like 15 or 16 now at this point. Um,
Hell
and
yeah.
a lot of them are people that like they don't want the fluff and the fucking bullshit. They're
Yeah.
like, "Hey, this lady hit me up and was like, I met my wife at Starbucks and we had our first date there, and I want you to just meet us at that Starbucks and just we just sign the papers." They brought their friends and you know, and they just we just want the legal like whatever the legal limit is or
Yeah.
whatever for.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, and it started kind of like this last year. I started like a social media thing for it, and then but on Reddit, some I'm like Reddit's a fucking cesspool usually, and I don't.
God damn. Dude, I stay off of Reddit for my mental health. Yes, I get that.
Oh yeah, no, I posted a Man High song one time. This guy's like, fucking 6 minute song. Yeah, 25 seconds and it fucking sucks. And I was like, well, thanks for checking it out. And then
That's
he's
probably
like,
the nicest thing I've
also,
heard anybody say on Reddit.
and then he was like, also the guitar and vocals suck. And I was like,
Oh,
that was
thanks,
me, but
dude.
thanks, thank you. But then I went on his page and I was like, oh, you're a fucking douchebag, like that's
And he hates everything.
every comment was just,
Yeah,
I mean, fucking,
yeah.
that fucking sucks. And I'm like, bro,
You
I get
fucking
to
suck.
sleep with a hot chick, like, I'm like, and you know, I'm in my, I'm in my spare
Dude,
bedroom.
that's what Reddit does to you, though. You're like fucking like I just like want to jump through the screen and like strangle. It's probably like some
Oh yeah,
12-year-old kid just fucking with it's. It's like, or it's like, dude, it's just like you were talking about the energy vampire earlier. It's that dude
yeah,
from What We Do in the Shadows. Just fuck, he's trolling us.
dude. This guy, like years ago, I was at a bar in Albuquerque, and this guy's like, man, he's like, "You think you're fucking cool with your fucking hair, you homo," and all this shit. And dude, he's like right here in my face, and I was just sitting there like, no. And I turned around and was like, What are you really hurt about, man? You don't even know me, And like, and he fucking started crying. He bought me a
Oh
drink.
no,
Yeah. So I was like,
that's
man, I was
awesome.
like, hey, whatever your problem is, it's not me. I haven't done anything to you. I don't know you,
Yeah,
And I think so. Honestly, it was like we're going back to the question of like,
yeah,
how to cope.
yeah.
I sometimes I have to do the opposite of what I feel like doing, and that is like that's it. I'm like, oh, dude, I'd like to fucking, I'm gonna take him outside and fucking fuck this dude up or whatever.
Yeah.
Instead,
Well,
you're
that
just
changed for me too, man.
yeah,
Yep,
it's like I don't have a problem with anybody, and I don't, I think violence is it's a weak, it's like a weak reaction to things, and
agreed.
I was like, I was in the military and stuff. I did 8 years in the military, like I was a paratrooper. I know what violence is, but it's like not, you know, I don't think it has any place, like in any reasonable place in anybody's life,
Agree.
and
Absolutely.
that goes into the marrying people thing is that, I got reached out to by, a small town New Mexico gay couple that was like retired and they were like, "Hey, I'm sick." And it's like he had some
Oh,
fucking greedy family or something, but he's like, I've been with this man for 25 years. And I was like, "Hey, stop explaining yourself to me."
yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. And so they came up
Yeah,
and actually Ray from Manhigh was like one of the witnesses for that one. But it's
right on,
it's
Ray.
it's incredible, you got like a they used a typewriter to write this fucking letter, it was like thanking me for you know, how easy I made it for them and all this because they were very confused and about the whole process of it and stuff like that. And
Sure.
they could not go to their own county clerk because of the fact that it's a small town and
Yeah,
so
dude.
everybody will know. And so they lived on the outskirts of a small town where they're like nobody really knows them. And that was man, it was such a beautiful experience. And honestly, it's like being a part of that, those moments and stuff like that. It makes you realize, like, man, I didn't scratch the surface of the beautiful experiences that I get to have. And so
That's,
I always tell myself, like, I don't know, I haven't had my best day yet. I've had a
but
lot of
it
great
doesn't
days.
sound like it. It doesn't sound like you've had your best day yet, and you've had some really good days. You're remarried,
Mhm.
and you have a young child, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
you have an older child as well.
Yes, I have two. Well,
And
actually,
so,
I have a daughter. So I'm in my daughter's room right now. She doesn't stay here. I mean, she's in college now. But that's
I
like I'm
yeah,
like I hope
right
you like
on.
Harry Styles posters, dude. Um,
That's fucking metal as fuck. I actually just have this screen behind me. It's covering up a bunch of Taylor Swift stuff. No, it's not.
hell
But
yeah.
yeah, man, our oldest kid just went up to college too.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so it's quiet and we miss her, but we're super stoked she's moving on with her life, and I'm sure you are too.
Yeah, like my my daughter's like she's rebelling by going to college. I was like, yeah, I was like, I barely made it through high school, and I was like, yeah. People were like, what'd you join the army for? Was it the sense of service? I'm like, because I fucking sucked at high school, dude. I was a fucking D average student, and I had no prospects in my life. Okay, I
I
did it the same reason
yeah,
anybody else does, man. Because
I did it for
they promise you the
straight up
world.
money. It's like
Yeah.
I did it for money to go to college because I knew there was no other way I could go, and then I didn't go anywhere.
Also, like if you're in the military and you're listening to this, fucking take advantage of every goddamn benefit you have.
Yes, actually,
Take
you know what?
I got a VA loan. It's like the only reason we don't,
Yes,
like, my wife and I do hair for a living, you know?
yeah,
You
dude.
know how hard it is to get
VA loan literally the VA loan was worth it for me, but I was in when it was a lot less scary to be in the military than it is, say, like
hey,
today.
right, right. I mean,
So,
right.
but you're
Well,
right,
we're
man.
we're in
Like
the
I,
middle of this no new wars era right now. That's super cool. You know,
yeah,
but I was like, I've had friends that are like, I'm thinking about joining the military. I'm like, you're a goddamn fool if you do that. Don't you do it? I'm like, there's no
if
fucking
you
reason to do
didn't
that.
already, take advantage of those benefits. If you didn't do
Yes,
it already,
hire a lawyer, do what I did, right? Like the reason I got the tour and shit, like with Man High, is because like I got hurt enough. I got hurt enough in the military to be taken care of for it. You know, and like don't be like, I don't deserve it. Don't be a pussy. Sign up, like get a lawyer, have them sign you up because they use all the best words, right? I'm like I'm big on that. It's like I had a legitimate, like, you know, was hospitalized for a
oh,
paratrooper
dude,
injury in Colorado actually. But
little Fort
like
Carson
yeah, I had to go to
action.
physical therapy. My back is all fucked. It doesn't look like it, but I run on adrenaline, baby.
I believe it, dude. The military is wicked on your body. I
Yeah,
can't hear shit. So yeah, like people are like, "Why do you use headphones?" It's like because otherwise I can't hear anybody I'm interviewing. Yeah, dude, it's a crazy
dude.
environment. Well, what was that?
Oh no, you have to.
Sorry,
I'm like getting to that age now where I'm like fucking
dude. Plus,
like
we both spend a lot of time, you more than me, in front of a lot of really loud amplifiers.
oh yeah,
So man, your life's going pretty well right now. You're married, you got some
fantastic.
kids, you're in a new band for you that's like just it seems like a fantastic situation. You're surrounded by some really positive people in that band.
They're the best,
You're coming to Denver, man. What you got anything you want to like talk about that we haven't hit on yet?
man. Well, I'm at Denver High. I went to Thomas Jefferson High
Yeah, you went
School
to
in Denver.
TJ, right?
Yeah, so
Thomas
it's
Jefferson
nice.
is pretty rough school.
Well, it wasn't when I went there. It was like I
Oh,
didn't.
okay.
Yeah. Now that
I
I think because Montbello was like that was the
that was a
school that
rough
was like,
that's still a
ooh,
rough school. Yeah.
is it still around? I
Yeah,
thought
I
they were
think so,
closed.
man. I like live in Westminster, so we were like in the suburbs, so we were,
Yeah, yeah. I
it
was
was
like in
fantasy land out here.
the tech center, I guess they called it. That's where my parents lived.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, but it was what was funny is like our backyard, you could see like Cherry Creek High School, and they were like, "Nah, you're out of district." I was like, "I'm across the fucking street, dude." They're like, "Nah." They just knew I
Yeah.
wasn't meant. I wasn't bound for greatness. I think in
You were not
academic.
Cherry Creek material, nor was I, Gabe.
Yeah, no, I was. Yeah, it was that shit was hilarious because they'd be like, "Yeah." I was like, they had kids come from like bus in from miles away, and I was like, I could hop my back fence and like walk
Kids from Cherry
across
Creek
the.
listen to Nickelback. Fuck Cherry Creek.
It's
I
true.
said it.
Yeah. Dude, yeah. But I'm very
But
much looking forward to HUFR
I
Also,
am
actually,
so
my
oh
first
wait.
show.
I
Uh,
it's well your second show because you got to count your birthday show.
well, it's technically be my third because we're just taking
Okay,
whatever right now because I'm like I need the
cool.
reps. Um,
We'll take it, dude. I'm so excited that you're. Are you gonna cut my hair when you're on here? Look at this. Look at this. It's
oh,
like
dude, I can. Yeah, dude,
I mean,
I'll make
we
some
gotta.
magic. I'm a. What that's funny is like Saturday. We played a birthday show. It was my birthday last week. So it was like we did a
Yeah, yeah.
really was an excuse for us to get a show because our friend Karen from Australia came.
Oh,
She's like,
that's
I'll be there
cool,
the last
man.
weekend of March, and I was like, that's my birthday
We're
weekend.
doing a
All
show.
right, we're booking it. We're booking it. And so originally I was like, fuck, like we're coming down to the wire, and I'm like, oh shit, I have a second band now. I'm like, I'm in another band, and it's great.
You're
So I
like, I
got
know
to
one.
yeah, I was like, dude. Well, now I'm like, cool. Like, which band do you want,
Huh.
or both? Like, and that's the beauty of it is like we do want to hit the road like at some point, and I'm like, it's one extra person, you know.
Well, bud, you know what? I wasn't well versed in your history when I booked this show
Mhm.
originally, or we would have like arranged for that to happen. But perhaps we can get you up here for 2027.
The answer is yes. from us.
Yeah, that would be great, dude. That would be awesome. Let's see if we survive this weekend here at the end of April.
Right. Well, let's see if as a country, if we may, you know,
Dude,
or as a
like
planet, you
real
know.
no doubt.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll hope for the best, man. Gabe, I'm gonna wrap this up.
Yes, sir.
I've had Gabe Gambino from Violet
It's
Rising and Man High. It's been
my real
an
name, by the way.
absolute honor. Dude,
People
when
say
I
like,
saw
is
your
that
name, I was like, that ain't real.
nah? Mm-mm.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. It's amazing just like your story is and just like you are,
Thank you.
man. I've had a wonderful time over the last couple of weeks getting to know you. We've chatted back and forth a lot. I really identify with a lot of the stuff that you've gone through and the stuff that I don't identify with. I really appreciate you sharing with me and opening
Thank
up.
you.
And I think it's always an important conversation when we talk about people's mental health and how important it is. And, you know, man, if you got a substance abuse issue, you got to find somebody to talk to. That's the first step. Find somebody you can talk to about it. And if you're depressed, man, it's just as important. You know,
Mm.
don't think you can handle that yourself, man. Get somebody else involved.
That's a
Gabe,
big one.
anything else you want to add to that, bud?
No, I just say it's an honor to be a part of Hopper Fest, and
Oh, thank you.
when you get offered to join a band, and they're like, yeah, our next show's a festival in Denver. And I was like, excuse me?
Oh man,
Oh shit. I was like, oh,
I'm
that's really
flattered.
serious.
I'm flattered that you guys are excited about playing. The
We're
bands in
so
Denver,
excited.
we talk all the time, and the people in Denver, we're excited for this show, and we're excited to have people come from out of town, not only just to check out the cool Denver bands that we have, but we want to check you guys out too. And I can't wait to see the new version of Violet Rising. I saw Violet Rising a couple years ago at Ripple Fest, but Gabe, I can't wait to watch you up there tearing it
Thank you.
up, watching Ricardo do his crazy ass drum, kicking his hi hat, and
I
freaking
do want to point out he does do that at practice. I was like the first time I played
does he
the
really?
first yeah, no, when we're at band practice, he's like doing
Dude,
all
he's
this like,
amazing.
and I'm like, oh shit, like because I guess I didn't notice it the first time that I saw them or whatever, and then
Dude.
once we were like jamming, I will tell like do want to say one funny little when I joined the band,
Yeah.
I showed up for my first jam. I learned all their music like overnight and showed up and was like just knew all their shit. They're like
Well,
Ricardo's like, well, you want to like just jam something or something, man? And I was like, no, it's like, let's play this song. And he's like, oh, okay. So like we played them like well enough. Like we probably could have played it live. And, but like overall, like we were all getting along. We were laughing. We were like having a great time and stuff like that.
yeah, cool.
And I was like, I got really excited because I was like never a join another band guy. And the more I thought about it, I was like, man, this is making me like give a shit about guitars. But like after we're done, they're like, well, we do. Christy's like, we do have to talk to each other. And then, we're just going to Ricardo's like, fuck that, man. I think he's in. He's like, fuck. Nah, man. I think he's the guitar player, man.
Dude,
They're like, well, we do have
that's
to
the Def
discuss it. And
Leppard story all over again.
he's like, this guy is the fucking guy.
You
And
are
it
the
was,
guy, dude. You really are the guy, man. You're amazing. But hey,
thank you.
when you come out here, let's talk about your rig and your pedals and stuff, and we'll do
Oh,
something.
man.
And you can cut my hair so I don't look like a damn hippie.
We'll
I'll
do it. We'll do the
heavily
post-show
compensate for you.
haircut.
That that's what we'll do. We'll figure something out,
We'll film
man.
it. We'll stream it, dude.
We'll
We'll
stream
get
my
another.
haircut. Oh my gosh, I'll never hear the
We'll
end of that.
recap
It'll
the
be
night.
perfect. It'll be
There'll be the
perfect.
nightly recap, and then what's more classy too? Getting your fucking haircut.
Dude, the barbershop shot, it'll be amazing. Hey, I appreciate your time, man. You're the
Thank
best,
you
dude.
so much.
I really appreciate your accessibility and your openness and your honesty. And I know that your story is really going to touch a lot of people and give a lot of people hope. And man, that's huge. Thank you for doing that.
It's a cold world, man. We just got to be a little bit of warmth for someone.
Thanks. Thanks for being that
Thank you
little.
so
Thank
much.
you,
Thank
man.
you for watching this and listening
I
to me ramble for a while.
No, it's our pleasure. Hey, this is Sean from HUFR. I had Gabe from Violet Rising and Man High. Thanks again for your time and your accessibility, buddy. Hang on one second. I'm gonna stop this recording.
Yeah!